Your drug addiction is inside of you. The grace to make you throw the bottle away is inside of you. The grace to live through financial difficulties is inside of you and is sufficient. Because God says so and God promises so. Paul claimed the promise of God. Can you imagine how much more joy would be in your life if we could swallow that and understand His grace is sufficient? How much more stress-free would be? It's not easy street, but you're shifting the burden to Jesus Christ and trusting in Him that God's grace is sufficient. Last verse on this text. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weaknesses. Look at this list. Insults, hardships, persecutions, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Translation of the word content in the Greek is pleased or delighted. This is a toughie. I am pleased with insults. I am pleased. I am delighted in hardships. What came to me was rejoice, and all things rejoice. I just had a bad attitude toward that verse. I am pleased to be persecuted. Calamity is the worst. I am pleased to have calamity. My grandma Donna lived through the Depression. The Dust Bowl. Had a sister die because they couldn't afford $6 to take her to the hospital, so she bled to death after giving birth to a baby. But it made her who she was. Romans 5, 3 and 4. We can rejoice too when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they help us develop endurance. And endurance develops strength of character, and character strengthens our confident hope of salvation. What God does in building our character through suffering is far more important than getting you through it, of building that character. And I must always end messages on a dour note, because I had a good friend of mine who was in the congregation go, you know, if you could just give us a little encouragement at the end, it really helps. I'm doing my best. God builds character through our faith in times of suffering. Jesus died so that you might live. We know that's grace. And grace builds that character. You see, we have suffering and we have sin. And when it really gets tough, we almost put them together, don't we? Oh, you know how bad it is. Yeah, I did do this. That's a sin. But oh, am I really going to do it? People in the wrong category. Sin is up there orbiting the earth. Suffering is in my hand. That's the difference. But we don't seem to get it. How does suffering build character? I'm going to show you. Need your imagination now. Faith, I want you to listen to me. Let's go to 1600. Actually, let's go before that. I've just been sentenced to be burned at the stake because I believe in Jesus Christ. And they throw me into a dungeon, a cold dungeon, and they throw stuff at me that we wouldn't feed our dogs. I get that once a day. And I'm in this cold room and I've been sentenced to burn at the stake because of my faith in Jesus Christ. How is that problem going to build character? Then throw in a nasty guard who every day comes and knocks. He doesn't knock. He laughs. He throws the food in at me. And he goes, tomorrow you die. Tomorrow you burn. And he's done this for a week. So that I think tomorrow's my day. And then he's done it for 30 days. And then he's done it for 2 months and 2 years. I never know what I'm going to burn at the stake. How is that going to build character in me? It's going to do it this way, people. It's going to get me on my knees every day. Because I can only get strength by the grace of God. And I'm going to pray to God to get me through this. And I'm going to pray to God that when my hour comes, whenever that is, I gladly go to the stake for Him. And then when the flames start rickling, I'm not afraid, and I sing like John Knox did. I sing hymns while they're burning me, because I know I'm this close to Jesus. That's building character through strength. That's the grace of God that's going to get me through. I may live in this prison for 6 years, I don't know, or it may be tomorrow. But the only thing I know is that every day Jesus Christ is there by the grace of God for me. And that's what, thank you, that's what builds character. So that when they come to get me, I can't wait to go to that stake for Jesus Christ. We're disappointed because the room got painted yellow and we wanted pastel. Or whatever it is. But you see what it does? Now that might have been a little bit of graphic, but every one of us has problems like that in our life. Maybe not as severe, but that's what God is doing. He is not a vengeful God. To His believers, we've got to have that faith that He knows best. We've got to have faith that His grace is sufficient for everything. Point number 5. We become more like Christ when we allow the grace of God to take us above the suffering. Above the suffering. Let us know that. Let us live that. That's a promise we need to live, people. To turn our obstacles into opportunities. Whatever yours is, He's greater than. Opportunities to grow in Him by His amazing grace.